Made in Hollywood.
The sci-fi adventure series Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, starring Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell, is made in Hollywood.
It was a bit daunting because we kind of looked into it and realized that two known actors, and had done a lot of stuff. That father-son had never been done.
Made in Hollywood.
Also on today's show, Pierce Brosnan and Morena Baccarin form an unlikely partnership in the action thriller Fast Charlie.
Pierce is such an amazing actor and so easy to work with.
Plus, Emile Hirsch stars in the vigilante thriller Walden. We dive into the world of a 12-year-old demigod in the fantasy series Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and Luke Wilson lends his voice to the animated holiday adventure Merry Little Batman. This week on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
Now available on your home screen. A makeshift family seeks to uncover their mysterious connection to a covert organization in the sci-fi adventure series Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, featuring Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell.
When the whole city was coming down, these guys were taking pictures, like they'd been waiting for it.
What I love so much about what Chris Black and Matt Fraction, who created the show, have done here is they've created this beautiful human-centric way into the Monsterverse.
We're really trying to tell this human story from the human point of view, and there's so many different ways to do that.
You think that your father was working for them?
This stuff was in a safe.
Who are they? What's Monarch?
When we first meet her, she's going through a lot of PTSD. Not only the loss of her students, but her dad, and there's more to come. I think that it's really interesting that we get to see that she is the result of the choices that her dad or her grandma made, and it's this whole journey.
This is the world we live in. Monsters are an inescapable reality.
His passion for finding truth about his father is his main motive. That's what drives him and the others around him.
Those files belong to us, and they are more important than you could possibly imagine.
You want to always make sure that your character is likable in some way, even if they're the villain, like finding a way for people to empathize with you. And I tried to forget about how people would perceive her.
Now, you can choke down that Monarch lie about your father disappearing.
I'm a huge fan of Kurt Russell going way back, just like I am of Godzilla, and I'm a huge fan of Wyatt's too. It was amazing to be able to work with both of them to create one character.
It was a bit daunting because we kind of looked into it and realized that two known actors, and had done a lot of stuff. That father-son had never been done. But we were excited about it. We were never really, I don't think, intimidated by it.
I wouldn't say it was daunting or I was intimidated, but there was some nervousness on my part because I never worked with my dad. There's all those, the comparisons are like, they can be kryptonite, they could also be great.
We can find out what really happened before it's too late.
Obviously, working with Kurt, it was such a joy. We knew that he was going to be amazing, but when we met him, I think I can speak for the three of us, but he's just a genuinely good human being.
He loves films and storytelling, so it was kind of like being around a campfire, being with these two guys.
Kurt is actually a writer as well, and so his script analysis, I think he takes very seriously. He's never trying to necessarily make himself look good. It's that he's concerned about the story.
This world, it's not ours. Believe me.
When they told me I was gonna be playing young John Goodman, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I love this. Godzilla, I'm young John Goodman. And then they reassured me that I didn't have to be John Goodman, which was great because I can't be John Goodman. He's John Goodman.
These monsters and Monarch have taken everything from me. No more.
You'd be on set and going, wait a minute, we're doing Godzilla, this is huge, but when you're in the moment, you're just focused on your character and the actors you're working with. And when I'm watching it now, I'm like, wow, this is so epic.
Sometimes when you pull up somewhere and you go past a lot of trucks, you're like, oh, there's a lot of people making this happen.
And you look at where you were, you look at the scope of what it was, you look at what in the first two episodes Matt Shackman was trying to capture with the camera. You look at the costumes and the what they were putting into it, and it was like, okay, well, if I suck, this is all gonna look awesome. So
Coming up, Pierce Brosnan and Morena Baccarin team up in the action thriller Fast Charlie, and Emile Hirsch takes justice into his own hands in the thriller Walden. To find out where to watch any movie, check out Moviephone.com. Find it, watch it.
The thriller aspect of it immediately caught me, so it was a really good read.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
Now streaming on demand. After a job goes incredibly wrong, a mob fixer enlists the help of his latest victim's ex-wife as Pierce Brosnan and Morena Baccarin star in the action thriller Fast Charlie.
I'm not an enforcer. I'm more like
A fixer.
Exactly.
I hadn't made a film that made people laugh since Blind Fury back in 1987. After having made so many thrillers and serious dramas, it was a way to reinvent myself now as a comedy director, or director of very black comedy, of course.
He's really incredible. I have to say, the sheer tenacity and hard work he put into this film in particular is the reason why we're here today. It's not easy in this day and age to make an independent film.
I have to convince a certain person that the body in that trunk out there is indeed Rolo.
Something happened to his face?
What the? It's missing, along with the rest of his head.
We lost part of the budget. We lost an actress who was going to play Marcy. And maybe that was a great thing, because I don't think I could have found a better replacement.
I started shooting, later into the schedule, but I knew that I was shooting the film probably about a month, 3 weeks or a month before. But it's amazing what you can get done, when you really want to, and when you're creating a character. And I think there has to be an intrinsic connection instantly. If it's very difficult, then I don't think you can make it work in such a short time. But I think because I identified some aspects of Marcy, obviously with myself, I could access the character fairly quickly.
As I said, I couldn't have found a better possibility for that role than her if I had the choice of all the actors in the world, really, because the chemistry between Pierce Brosnan and Morena is just, I think, precious.
Ask Charlie. I got more men than you got bullets.
Bullets are easy to get.
Pierce is such an amazing actor and so easy to work with. And it was so easy to fall in step with him.
What do you want?
You, not breathing.
And how you gonna do that?
I'm doing it.
I got to rehearsals with Pierce in New Orleans, and I quickly realized that he had a playbook. He'd worked every scene out in advance. He knew exactly what he wanted to do.
I can't think of another actor who, at this point, still after so many characters and such a prolific career, can deliver something new and refreshing.
He was my second best guy.
I'm looking forward to meeting number one.
A terminal illness fuels a mild-mannered court stenographer on a quest to right the injustices he's witnessed in the courtroom, as Emile Hirsch stars in Walden.
I'm the ghost of the courtroom. I arrive, I take out my machine, and I record every moment, every truth, every lie, every word.
When I first read the script, the thriller aspect of it immediately caught me, so it was a really good read.
You won't like today's case. Bad man.
And then there was a wondering of who this character is.
9-year-old child choked to death.
Plus 3 more, all disappeared in the last 10 years, no results.
Whenever you watch a courtroom drama, you've got the defense and the prosecution and the judge and the jury, but nobody ever pays attention to the stenographer.
How do you take
all of these things you see throughout the day and throughout the week and throughout the month and throughout the years home with you.
It's a tough thing for someone with a good moral compass to do, is just to sit there and record. He discovers he has a brain tumor and becomes a vigilante.
Sometimes evil walks away.
Emil responded to him as he was because he said he's kind of one of life's lost souls, as it were.
I think when you find a part that you really feel comfortable in, you know where you're going to be. I think sometimes that makes it easier.
He really took a big shot at playing this character that far from who Emil really is.
When do we start to punish such evil? Who are you?
The stenographer.
He takes it to the extent of, actual murder. But, we've created a very famous superhero a la Batman, who's seen so many injustices in the world and trying to do what he or she can do to prevent it.
I've lived long enough to have met people who have both sides in their personality. I wanted the dichotomy of Walden to be the talking point.
Most people, you don't approve of that kind of vigilante justice, but when you're watching it, you're like, I mean, I'm not mad, it's a weird fine line.
To find out where to watch any movie, check out MoviePhone.com. Find it, watch it. Up next, we sit down with the stars of the fantasy series Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and the animated holiday adventure Merry Little Batman features Luke Wilson.
I'm a version of Batman, a very different version of Batman.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
Now available on your home screen. Based on the best-selling book series, a young demigod embarks on a quest to unravel his extraordinary destiny in the family adventure Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Perseus. That's me.
That's who you're named after.
Because he was a hero?
Because he was brave and kind and against all odds, he managed to find his way to a happy ending.
A choice was made early on that I think was easy for everybody to buy into, to start fresh. We were starting back with a book on paper and imagining it from there with no limitations, no sense of anything it owed anything to other than the source material and its fans.
I'm used to the world feeling weird to me. Like a puzzle with half the wrong pieces.
I'm very excited, and at the same time, I'm a little nervous, I don't know what people are gonna think. I hope they like it.
We did do a worldwide search, but John, I remember the moment he called me and said, dude, get online, look at this first audition. And we knew it right away.
Percy, you are special. When you're ready to hear what the gods have in store for you, they'll tell you.
I did read the books and I was familiar with them before I had got the part.
I think we've given them everything they need to like it. It's very, very faithful to the books, which I think is very important.
The stories I have told you about Greek gods and monsters, they are real.
I feel like in this first book, I feel like it's definitely went from stranger enemies, basically. Like I feel like they were already enemies before they even knew each other. It was like when I first saw him, I was like, you're already getting on my nerves. Are you gonna keep talking or are we gonna go on the quest now? Like it was very much like that, and I felt like at the end, going into the second book, that's when it starts to build into a friendship.
Percy Jackson, your father needs your help. The Master Bolt has been stolen. If you don't return the bolt, there will be war. That is your quest.
Grover is a very emotional character. He has a very deep understanding of, how people are feeling around him, and I think that's what helps Percy in both, on both sides of the mist, I guess.
A quest is always undertaken by 3.
Demigods process reality differently. We gotta figure out what you're good at.
Should I try again?
No!
This is both a portrayal of a book that Rick wrote a long time ago and a contribution to that story in some new ways.
Maybe I won't even need a sword. I'm gonna need a sword.
Now available on your home screen. A pint-sized hero is all that stands between Gotham City and a villainous plot to steal Christmas in the animated holiday adventure Merry Little Batman, featuring the voice of Luke Wilson.
Merry Christmas, Gotham City. In breaking news, Gotham is officially crime-free as Batman continues to clean it up.
I'm a version of Batman, a very different version of Batman, where my approach to it was just kind of thinking about, friends I have that have smaller kids, and you watch them watch something and they are very kind of dialed in.
Our Batman, there's a little bit of comedy to him, right? But he also has a lot of heart and warmth, right? He delivered the comedy, he delivered that warmth. He just completed everything that we wanted out of our Bruce.
My own utility belt!
Which should only be used in case of a bat emergency.
Oh, come on, Dad, I'm not a baby.
Hey, I never said you were a baby.
He's, like a lot of parents, kind of trying to be a good dad, but trying to also be the cool dad while also having to be the disciplinarian at times. So at times seems like he can handle crime, he can handle villains, but sometimes with his own son, he can kind of have his hands full and not quite know how to handle it.
We put a lot of ourselves and our own dadisms into the character because we wanted it to feel very real and authentic.
It's the Justice League. Sorry, Damien, I gotta go.
Shall I assume we did not see the Bat Razor?
I like it. Totally ups my intimidation game.
You have donut crumbs in your intimidation game, sir.
I don't want to say I didn't get it, but it's definitely a choice. I mean, I certainly hope it wasn't affected by me going in there, for one of the recording sessions and being bearded, but maybe it could become a thing.
He looks like probably a lot of the dads at home watching the film, right? Which is also important to us too, because we wanted audience members to see themselves in Bruce.
I can do this! I'm saving Christmas!
All right, which one of you gave a little kid explosives?
Stay tuned, there's more coming up on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
Thanks for watching Made in Hollywood, powered by MoviePhone. For more behind-the-screen content, check out MoviePhone.com.